Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari, Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jai Nitai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Anagyanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahavana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusutadevi Pranamami Hare Priya Vancha kalpatarobhyascha Kripa sindhubhyo eva cha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasudi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, everyone. So, generally, for a guest, we give introduction. Today, I can genuinely say our guest does not need any introduction. You all agree? I think we can just get the best and Maharaj, we can hear the Maharaj today. But what we can do is just welcome him back becomes down to chanting. Hare-ho! 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 Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you so much.
We are in the middle of a book marathon and still he gives time for us. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Thank you so much, Radhamohan Prabhu. Hare Krishna, everyone. So nice to be with you this evening. And we've been traveling all across the country. So today we're in Peterborough, and it was wonderful. We met so many incredible people, and it's been like that over the whole month. We've been going town to town. So we began in the north of England, and then we came to the south, Southampton, Portsmouth, Bournemouth, Brighton, Crawley, and then we were in Norwich, Kings Lynn, then we came Peterborough here. So yes, so many people have in some way had some contact with the Hare Krishna movement. They have some idea. One person I stopped recently said, I know Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Dalai Lama. I said, you kind of got it. So sometimes people have some idea, but they haven't fully grasped what it is. So it's wonderful to go around and just connect with people. So that's what we've been doing, giving people Srila Prabhupada's books, and amazing stories out there of how people get transformed. So today we're taking some time in the evening to become transformed again by these books. And Radhamohan Prabhu asked me to speak about, what was the exact topic? Growing our roots. Okay, so let's speak about growing our roots. If you look in the Vedic scriptures, then we often use the analogy of a plant to describe how we are growing in our spiritual life. How many of you did gardening in your life? I'm not going to put my hand up. I was born in Wembley, northwest London, urban jungle. But many of you had the fortune in your life to grow up maybe in the village or in some rural place, or at least you had some kind of garden, so you grew things. And therefore you understand something about gardening. So it's explained that when you take up spiritual life, you become like a gardener. Mali hone kare se bija aropan, Shravana kirtana jale koriye sechan. So in Bengali, the word Mali means a gardener. No problem. Even gardeners have mobile phones. So to become a gardener, that's what we are all doing. How is it that we are gardener? Because it's explained. Brahmande Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beej. You all became gardeners. How? Because you all were wandering, me also, we all were wandering in the universe, aimlessly in different species of life. But what happened is at some point in your journey, you became Bhagyavan. That means you became very fortunate. Why? Because Guru Krishna, you met Guru, you met a Vaishnav, and therefore you met Krishna. At some point in your life, a Vaishnava entered. Can you remember who it was? Yes, someone entered. Maybe they were a relative, maybe they were a book distributor, maybe it was Srila Prabhupada. Someone entered in your life and brought Krishna into your life. And when they brought Krishna into your life, then what did they do? They gave you Bhakti Lata Beej. Beej means a seed. A seed was planted in your heart. Maybe you didn't know that. But yes, as soon as you meet Guru and as soon as you meet Krishna, then what happens? A seed is planted in your heart. And then, as soon as the seed of bhakti is planted in your heart, then from that day on you become a gardener. Because now you have a seed. You can't be a gardener if there's nothing to grow. But now you receive the seed. And therefore, we have all become gardeners. And therefore it said, how do you water the Bhakti Lata Beej? How do you water the seed? Because that's the first thing a gardener has to do. Shravana Kirtana Jale. Jale means, or Jala means water. So what is the water which nourishes your seed of bhakti? Shravan and Kirtan, hearing and chanting about Krishna. And just as if you're a gardener, then you have to protect the plant, isn't it? So therefore, when you take up spiritual life and you're trying to grow your bhakti, you also have to protect your bhakti. You have to protect your devotion. You have to protect your spiritual growth, because there are many things which can come and impede and attack your spiritual growth. And just as when you're growing a plant, then many other things also grow at the same time, like weeds, isn't it? Therefore, as soon as you start growing your bhakti, then it's said that many other weeds may also grow with your bhakti. So those weeds are also described in scripture, and it's said that as a gardener you have to make sure that you grow the plant, and if weeds are coming, then you have to take those weeds out so they don't overpower the plant. And just like when you're a gardener, you can water, you can protect, you can take all the weeds out, but ultimately you need sunshine, you need rain. That you can't control. So even as a gardener, if you do everything to control to cultivate your bhakti, after doing everything, you have to rely on Krishna. You have to rely that He will actually deliver the grace required to grow the plant of your devotion. So like this, believe it or not, we are all playing the parts of gardeners. We are trying to grow our bhakti. And what the Chaitanya Charitamrita, a very ancient book, describes is that bhakti plant, it grows and it grows and it grows. And eventually it grows so high that it goes beyond the material world. And he said that as it goes beyond the material world, there's a causal ocean which is separating the spiritual world from the material world. The plant goes even beyond that causal ocean. And then it said that plant goes all the way into Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha means the spiritual world. And in Vaikuntha it goes all the way to the center of Vaikuntha, which is known as Goloka. And in Goloka it goes right into the center where Radha and Krishna are residing. And there the plant comes and it arrives at the lotus feet of Krishna. That's a long plant. So that's the journey which we are all going on. So this analogy is given by our teachers to explain that how we are growing our bhakti. So today the topic is, how do you deepen your roots? You see, if there is a building, like this building is here, but before they could build high, they had to dig into the ground, isn't it? Because the more you dig into the ground and the more you develop a foundation, then what happens is that you can build much higher. Because if you build high, but you don't have a foundation, then after some time, if there is some wind, or if there is some calamity, or if there's some earthquake, or if there is some something that happens, immediately the building can fall down. And therefore one must have very, very strong foundations, one must have very, very deep roots. In India you have banyan trees, isn't it? You've seen banyan trees. So the roots of banyan trees sometimes are said to go for miles. Can you imagine? The roots go down and they grow for miles and miles. And because the roots of the banyan tree go so deep, then what happens is the tree can go very, very high. So if you want the tree of your spiritual life to go high, if it's going to reach all the way to Goloka Vrindavan, that's a long way, it's going to have to go high. Therefore, if you want to go high, then you have to go deep. That means one must have very, very strong roots. And how do we develop deeper roots in Krishna consciousness? How do we develop that depth? Rupa Goswami, he outlined 64 items of devotional service, and then he says 5 of them are considered foremost. And if you spend time doing these 5 things, then your roots will go very, very deep. The very, very first thing he says, if you want to have deep roots in Krishna consciousness, is he says, Nam Kirtan. Chant the holy name with depth, with absorption, with attention, with consistency. The more we take seriously the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, the more we will actually deepen our spiritual life. Sometimes the most simple things are the most powerful things. And so sometimes people think this is it's too simple, it's too easy, it's too, there must be something more complicated I have to do. No. One time a person, he came to the ashram of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and he said, I've been watching your disciples for 20 years. And I look at them and they're still chanting the same mantra. Didn't they advance in all of these years? I saw them 20 years ago, they were chanting this mantra. And now 20 years later, they're still chanting the mantra. Didn't they graduate? So he said let me give you an example. You can go to a school and you can go to the first grade classroom where they are teaching. And there in the first grade classroom, they are teaching and the teacher is writing on the board A. Everyone say A, B. No, you can also say if you like. Everyone say B, everyone say C, and she's teaching A, B, C. And then someone will go to the senior classroom, and there they are teaching calculus. And on the board the teacher is writing A, B, C. And if you're a fool, then you will think, what are these people in the senior class doing, writing ABC? That's for the kids. Yes, they are writing ABC. But this is advanced calculus, this is algebra, this is complicated stuff. If you look at it superficially, you think it's the same thing. But what you don't realize is that now this ABC in the senior classroom is of a very, very advanced level. So yes, they were chanting 20 years ago, and now 20 years later they're chanting the same mantra. But now they are chanting on a significantly deeper level. And therefore, the Hare Krishna mantra is unlimited, and it can go to unlimited depths of spiritual realization. And so, those who make a daily commitment to the chanting of Hare Krishna, Nam Kirtan, this is called, many, many things are revealed to them about Krishna. Because it's said in Sanskrit, Nama, Guna, Rupa, Leela. From the name of Krishna, eventually, as you chant the name of Krishna more and more, Guna, you will begin to appreciate the qualities of Krishna. And then if you continue chanting Rupa, in your meditation, Krishna's form will appear. And if you keep chanting and you're very, very lucky, then Nama, Guna, Rupa, Leela. You will be able to see the pastimes of Krishna within your heart, like a television. Prabhupada writes, like a television. You'll be able to chant the Hare Krishna mantra, close your eyes, and you'll be able to actually witness what Krishna is doing in the spiritual world. This is nothing. It's amazing to think. So that's the capacity, that's the potentiality of Nam Kirtan. Next thing, so you got one. Next thing, number 2, Bhagavata Shravan. If you want your roots in Krishna consciousness to go very deep, then you have to hear about Krishna from the scriptures, and particularly from the ancient book Srimad Bhagavatam. You see, all of us know Krishna, but we've forgotten. Therefore, what happens is when you read Srimad Bhagavatam, you're reading about the place that you were in at some point. You're hearing about the person that you know better than anyone else. You're hearing about the activities which you were doing eternally and which you will do eternally. And right now we've forgotten all of that. So when you read Srimad Bhagavatam, what happens is it begins to trigger your memory. Oh, yes, this is who I am. This is where I am meant to be. This is Krishna who I love very dearly. The more we hear about Krishna, his activities, his devotees, where Krishna lives, what he does, what Krishna eats, what games he plays, what tricks he does every single day, then when we hear all of this from Srimad Bhagavatam, then what happens is that we begin to realize, I'm not part of this world. I'm not meant to be here. I'm meant to be there. And so the more we hear, you have to hear because we have amnesia, isn't it? Have you ever met anyone who has amnesia? I met someone once. He banged his head on something and immediately he forgot everything. Who he was, where he lived, what his job was, everything. It was so surreal speaking to him. You're sitting in front of someone you know, they can't even recognize you because they forget everything. But then gradually by speaking, then gradually the memory comes back. So like that, we all have spiritual amnesia. Therefore, Bhagavata Shravan, to hear from the Bhagavatam about the spiritual world. Then your roots go deep. Second one. Third one. Murti Seva. Krishna, he appears in this world in the form of a deity, a murti, the Archa Vigraha. And by worshipping the deity, by relating to Krishna as a person, then what happens is our relationship with Krishna becomes very, very real. Yeah. In our temples we have murtis, isn't it? Vigraha, Archa Vigraha, deities. And at different times in the day there are artis, isn't it? So first arti of the day is at 4:30. Except if you go Vrindavan and you go to the Banke Bihari temple. Then Krishna in that temple never wakes up for Mangal Arti. He sleeps till 9 o'clock. Only one day a year he wakes up for Mangal Arti, Janmashtami. But generally Krishna is up for Mangal Arti. So there are 6 artis in the day, isn't it? When we worship the murtis, the deities. And why are these 6 artis there? Because these are 6 times in the day when very, very significant things are happening in the spiritual world. And therefore when we worship Krishna in this world, then we meditate on being with Krishna in the spiritual world. So why do we have Mangal Arati at 4:30? I've been asking that question for the last 25 years. Oh, why? Because in the spiritual world, Krishna gets up. And why do we have an Arati at 7 o'clock? Because that's the time in the spiritual world when Krishna has had his bath and he's been dressed and now he's ready for the day ahead and he's having his breakfast. And why do we have an Arati at 12:30? Because this is the time in the day when Krishna goes out with the cowherd boys and he's in some place in the pasturing grounds and they stop to have lunch. So then we also have an Arati at that time. And then after lunch Krishna goes to sleep, he takes a rest. So why do we have an Arati at 4:20? Because that's the time when Krishna gets up from his afternoon rest. And why do we have an Arati at 7 o'clock? Because that's the time when Krishna and the cowherd boys are coming back to their home, Nanda Bhavan. And why do we have an Arati at 9 o'clock? Because that's the time when Krishna is going back to sleep. At least that's what his mother and father did. Other things happen. So, by worshipping the deity and by honoring the artis, we actually begin to enter into Krishna's world. You see? This is actually what a devotee wants to do. They want to enter into Krishna's world. And this is the opportunity that we're given when we have either pictures of Krishna or murtis of Krishna. Therefore, the third one is Murti Seva. Then the fourth one that's very, very important if you want to deepen your roots is sadhu sangha, association with spiritual people. You see, we are trying to grow our bhakti, our devotion, but when we're surrounded by people who have developed their devotion, Krishna bhakti janma mula hoya sadhu sang. Krishna bhakti prema teho punamukya ang is mentioned that by being around people who have awakened their bhakti, immediately your bhakti increases much, much more. Isn't it? It's very powerful to be around devotees of Krishna. Just like when you go to Mumbai and you go on the trains, isn't it? The Mumbai trains. Then when you come to the station, if you need to get out of the train and you're caught in the middle of the carriage, all you have to do is maneuver yourself to the right spot, and then once it comes to the train station, you don't even need to walk. The whole crowd will carry you out. So, sadhu sangha is like that. If you place yourself in the right community, if you place yourself in the right association, then those devotees, even because some days we wake up and we think, maybe tomorrow. Some days we wake up and we don't have the strength. Ekakiya amar nahi paya bal harinam sankirtane. One of our acharyas says, he says, Ekakiya amar, me by myself, nahi paya bal. By myself, I don't have any strength. But together, we have a lot of strength. Therefore, an African proverb says, if you want to walk fast, walk alone. But if you want to walk far, walk with many. You have to walk with many others, sadhu sangha. Therefore, when we have deep relationships with other spiritual people, then immediately the roots of our spiritual life are going much deeper. And so the fourth practice which is given is sadhu sangha. And the fifth major practice which is given is known as Mathura Vas. Mathura Mandal is the place where Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago. And so when you go to that place, when you go to that holy, sacred, divine place, then immediately a deep transformation of heart occurs. You see, there are two energies which are said to be pervading the holy places. One is known as Taraka Shakti, and another one is known as Paraka Shakti. Taraka Shakti means the energy which is in the holy place, which makes you very, very detached from material things. Isn't it? Sometimes you'll go to a holy place and then you'll come back home after being in a holy place and you'll realize all these things that I was so attached to, I don't feel attached to it anymore. Immediately a detachment comes because Taraka Shakti, there's a power in the holy place which frees you from your attachment. And Paraka Shakti with a P. That means there's an energy in the holy dham which immediately draws you, attracts you to divinity, to God, to Krishna. When you spend time in the holy place, then in this way you are blessed, because it helps you to let go of the illusion and attach yourself to the eternal reality. And so by doing that, one's roots go very, very deep. So Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Sakala sadhana shreshta e pancha anga Krishna prema janma e panchara alpa sanga. This Bengali. Sakala. Sakala means of all. Sadhana. Sakala sadhana, of all types of sadhana. Shreshta, which is the topmost, the best. E pancha anga. These 5 practices. Why? Krishna prema janma e. Love for Krishna will come about. Panchara alpa sanga. Alpa means even a little bit. This is a key word when you're in Bengal and they're serving prasad and they come with the rice. Because alpa, just little bit. Because Bengalis have a huge capacity for rice. So alpa means just a little bit. These 5 types of sadhana are so powerful that even a little bit of contact with them immediately begins to trigger and awaken prema or love within the heart. And so, if you want to grow your roots, then this is the sadhana you should do. Sadhana is a very beautiful word. Dhana means wealth. Sadhana iti sadhana. So that which awakens your eternal wealth is known as sadhana. Isn't it? Golokera premadhan harinam sankirtan. The real wealth is premadhan. There are many types of wealth in this world, isn't it? How can one be known as a wealthy person? If you have money, something. If you have reputation, something. If you have knowledge, better. But beyond all of these types of wealth, the highest type of wealth is one who has love in their heart. And if you want to awaken that love, sadhana iti sadhana. Therefore you do sadhana, because that's what makes you a wealthy person. Your job doesn't make you wealthy. Your knowledge doesn't make you wealthy. Your influence, your popularity doesn't make you wealthy. The number of followers on Instagram, doesn't make you wealthy. But sadhana makes you wealthy, because sadhana iti sadhana. That is the practice which will awaken your eternal wealth, which is love. And without that love, prema dhana vina vyartha daridra jivan. Without that love, you are poor. No, I have so much in my bank account. Sorry, poor. Because no love. So therefore, what is life without love? There is no life without love. Last Christmas I gave you my heart. The very next, oh God, we're hearing these songs all day. It's all going through my head. No love in the world. No love. But love is there. Ba sadhana iti sadhana. You want love. Don't sing songs about it. Do sadhana. You do sadhana, you get love. Therefore, this is how we grow our roots in Krishna consciousness. So yes, we are all becoming gardeners, and we are watering the Bhakti Lata Beach through hearing and chanting and all of these wonderful practices. So these are some thoughts on growing your roots. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. How shall we do, Radha Mohan Prabhu? Shall we take some questions? Yes. Does anyone have any questions or comments, or perhaps I said something and you want to know more? Yes, sir. What's your name? Ahar. Ahan. A-H-A-N? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. What did you like? What point stood out for you?
I like the thing when you were talking about the first graders learning the alphabet A, B, C.
Oh, okay.
And then when like for example, like at the movement in school, we're learning circumference of circles. So like the formula of that is 2 pi r. So like how it's like in year 7 you like use A, B, C, or use it in a different technique. So like for example, when you're like, so that I understand that like grade 1 is like when you're starting to Krishna,
Mm-hmm.
when you go like into high school, which I've just been, that means you're like that you're getting the hold of Krishna, and you're understanding how there's a bhakti work.
Amazing. Wonderful. Yes. Very good. Appreciate it. You have a question, or you just wanted to make that comment? Okay. Thank you. Wonderful. Yes. Anyone else? Any questions? Can be about the class, or maybe you have some questions just about generally your spiritual. Yes.
My question is, how do we, you said some days we are so how do we keep this consistency on this level?
How do we keep that consistency when some days we're not motivated? So in our life there are so many things that we are not motivated by. Are you motivated, moms, to cook for your kids every day? Every day? Are you motivated to go to work every day? Do you want to go out on book distribution every day? Life means it's hard. We are not. See, when you are moving on motivation in spiritual life, simply motivation, then you are on a high level. This is known as raganuga. Rag means attachment, and anuga means to follow, anugatya. So when you are simply moving in spiritual life because you are moved by motivation, then, my God, you are Raganuga, you are high. This is the name of Srimati Radharani's name, Radha, isn't it? Radha means Raga, Bhavati. She who is running after her object of attachment. This is one meaning of the name Radha. So it takes time to come there, where we are moving simply on motivation. But in our life, we've learned the art of how we understand something in our intelligence, that this is needed, this is required, this is good. And therefore, even on the days when we don't like to do it, we still continue to do it. So therefore, in spiritual life, we have to have very, very strong knowledge. We have to have a very, very strong intelligence. Siddhanta boliye chite nakara alash, iha hoite Krishna lage sudridamanash. Keshava Swami says, when it comes to discussing philosophy, nakara alash, don't be lazy. Iha hoite, because by doing so, Krishna lage sudridamanash, your mind will become very, very strong. So therefore, When you wake up in the morning, the mind will say so many things. When you face some kind of difficulty, the mind will say so many things. When it feels like you're not getting reciprocation, the mind will say so many things. But in all of these situations, if you have a very strong intelligence, then you will continue on. Therefore, some discipline, determination, diligence is required, and that usually comes from someone who has a very strong intelligence. So sometimes you just have to do it even when you're not motivated. And then what happens is, as soon as you begin doing it, you feel the motivation. So we feel that I have to have the motivation before I do it. But often what happens is, if you just do it, then the motivation comes, isn't it? So, like that. Yes. Is that okay? Yes.
I've got a question on motives, motivation. Sometimes I feel quite guilty that I leave my deities at home. Sometimes I feel a little guilty that I leave my deities at home, but I take parts of my deities with me.
Parts of your deities?
No,
They're like, oh, like that.
So, like, how can I stop the guilt feeling? And if I am taking my travel deities, how does the service to the deities differ to?
No, so like, for example, if you are traveling, then what you can do is you can take your deities to a friend's home, and then the deities can go on the altar in their home, so that, they still receive offerings every day, and they can, still be in that way. So that's definitely one thing many devotees do, is they'll take their deities and leave them with friends, with family, like that. So that you can definitely do. Sometimes we are restricted, we're living in the material world, we have duties, we have responsibilities, and Krishna knows. Krishna is bhavagrahi. He knows your sincerity, he knows your purpose. So sometimes in situations where it can't be avoided and you have to leave the deities at home, then what can we do? Then we pray to Krishna, we try on our travels to continue doing some kind of worship, as you said, to photos or however, and in that way we try to remain connected with our deities. So then ultimately Krishna is kind, Krishna is understands. It's a complex world where you're balancing many different things. But the more that you can treat Krishna as a person, the more your deity worship will come alive. Simple as that. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tams tatheva bhajami aham. So the more and more that you treat your deities as a person, then they'll reciprocate with you. Once I remember going to Braj, and I went in one home, and this person had worshipped their deities for like 70 years. And they were explaining to me the daily worship that they were doing to their deity, doing for their deities. It probably took about 10 hours every day. For 70 years. And they were looking at me just saying, Krishna speaks to me, Krishna speaks to me. And I was thinking, Yeah, because you've worshipped them for 70 years, 10 hours a day. Like, you treat them as a person, so of course Krishna is going to speak to you. So, when the deities come to your home, it's not random, it's not by chance. It's not that, oh, I went here and I bought them from the shop, or, this happened, I ordered them. No, you don't order Krishna. You can't order Krishna. You may make all the arrangements, but ultimately Krishna is completely svatantra. He's completely independent. But he came. Krishna appeared in your life. It's not a small thing. If deities are there, Krishna came. Wow. Krishna came. So, yeah, try to treat him as a person. Do the best you can. And if there's some limitation, Krishna will understand. That's what I can say. In my life, I never worshipped. I was never a pujari. Somehow or other, for many years I lived at the manor and I was never a pujari. And then I was about to take sannyas, and I thought, now I'm going to be traveling. And when you travel from temple to temple, you never know the rules in the altar and all of that of each different place. I thought, that's it, I'm never going to be able to worship the deities now. So it was coming up to that time when I was going to take sannyas, and I thought, this is it, I lost the opportunity. And then COVID came. Thank God for COVID. And then the manor got locked down. And then I had the opportunity to offer Krishna Rajbhog for 18 months, every single day. And it was the most transcendental experience because nobody was in the temple. There wasn't even any other pujaris. Just alone with Sri Sri Radha Gokulananda. Every afternoon. It was very transcendental. Whew. Krishna reciprocated. So yes, Krishna is alive, he's active. Yeah. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, at the back. Oh, sorry, yeah. Go for it. Yeah, life means that there will be problems, there will be difficulties, there will be challenges. But actually, we have to learn the art of how to utilize these things in such a way that they increase our fire. You see, if you have a little flame and wind comes, then what happens is the flame is extinguished. But if you have a forest fire and the wind comes, then what happens? The forest fire spreads. So once our bhakti reaches a certain point, then actually what happens is that all of the obstacles, all of the difficulties, all of the hindrances, actually we're able to utilize them in such a way that they actually fuel our bhakti further. Hindrances come to make us realize, why do you want to stay here? Isn't it? If you're in the jail And then you start, you call the warden and say, quick, warden, come, there's some problem here, the door is jammed. Quick, call the engineer, the door isn't opening. No. You're in jail. The door doesn't open, it's locked. You can't call the warden and say, no, there's a problem. Nobody's bringing a menu for the breakfast. Nobody's giving me any. No. It's jail. You get what you get. So once we begin to realize that this world means problems, the world is perfectly imperfect. Om Purnam Adapurnamidam Purnapurnam Udachyate Purnasyam Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Krishna is perfect, and everything emanating from Krishna is perfect and complete, including this phenomenal world. This world is perfect. Doesn't look very perfect. Yes, it's perfectly imperfect. Because all the obstacles, all the issues, all the imperfections, all the difficulties, all the issues, all of that is scientifically arranged to make us realize, why do I want to stay here? And when a devotee encounters those hindrances, then their enthusiasm and their motivation for bhakti goes higher. Because they realize, yes, this is why Krishna consciousness is true. So we have to become very thoughtful. We have to become very reflective. And if we do, then when we encounter all of these hindrances and problems, it will act as a catalyst to increase our bhakti. Does that make sense? You have a question? I think we have here.
So, as we know, Krishna resides in our heart. One month ago, I really expressed last week, he was saying how Krishna is personally residing next to us within the heart, like truly the world. And he said that he's there to guide us, just so we keep away from all the opposite. He's waiting for us to keep it. So, how can we recognize Krishna's voice in our hearts? Like, how do we know it's not just our mind and it's Krishna's voice?
So Krishna is trying to guide us. Krishna is within our hearts, and oftentimes we hear many voices. So how do we know that it is actually Krishna guiding us? How do we know that this is really what Krishna wants us to do? The first thing is that if it's Krishna's voice, then it will come repeatedly. It will come repeatedly. And what will happen is, if it's Krishna's guidance to you, it will be confirmed by many, many other signs external that you don't force. Then it will also be confirmed by the devotees. The devotees will also confirm, yes, this is your path, this is what you're meant to do. So Krishna, yes, he's in your heart, he's inspiring you, he's guiding you. If you keep your heart open and your ears open and your eyes open, then Krishna will guide you. Desham satatayuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam. I give the intelligence, I give the understanding by which you can come to me. Yeah, Krishna is guiding. So we just have to see, if the message comes number one repeatedly, if the message number two is confirmed by many, many other signs outside, and if number three, the message is confirmed by Vaishnavas who know me and love me and have spiritual advancement, then you can understand, yes, it's Krishna's voice. So yes, Krishna, he speaks to you. Yeah, Krishna is real, he's speaking to you. But the other thing is we have to want to hear Krishna. This is the real thing. See, once a guru was with his disciple in Times Square, New York, and as they were walking in this madness with so much noise, the guru stopped and he said, "Did you hear that?" And the disciple thought, "My God, I'm hearing a lot of things here. I don't know what he's talking about." And the guru said, "Did you hear the sound of the cry?" And he thought, "What sound of the cry?" And then they went round the back of a bench, and there was a tiny kitten who was injured, who was crying, meow, just very faintly, crying for help. So the disciple looked at the guru and said, "How did you hear that? In the midst of all this sound, that very faint sound, how did you hear it?" The guru said, "Come with me." Then the guru went in the middle of Times Square, and from his pocket he dropped a few coins. Ding! And as soon as the coins dropped, 50 people stopped. Was that my money? Was that my money? And then he looked at the disciple and he said, "You hear what you want to hear. If you have greed in your heart, then even the faintest sound of money, you'll pick up on it. But if you have compassion in your heart, then even the faintest sound of the cry of a kitten, you'll pick up on it. And if you have bhakti in your heart and serious desirousness to hear Krishna, then you'll hear Krishna." So, the real point is, do you want to hear Krishna? Are you open? We're kind of like, I'm ready to hear Krishna if he confirms what I want to do. We already have a plan of what we want to do, and then we're just trying to hear Krishna if he's going to confirm it or not. But if you really want to hear Krishna, then you have to be ready. What about if Krishna tells you, "Kill all your relatives. Kill all my relatives." That's what Krishna told Arjuna to do. Therefore Arjuna could hear Krishna because he was ready to hear any message from Krishna. So, if you develop a heart where you're ready to hear any message from Krishna and follow it, you will hear Krishna, you will tune in 100%. But we don't, because we already have an idea. So, how much will Krishna get involved? Like that. Hope that helps. All right, I'm just concerned about time. Okay.
Developments in the artificial intelligence and all those things that's going to happen in the next decade or whatever. How far is it going to be helpful or?
Artificial intelligence. Is it going to be helpful? Is it going to be a hindrance to spirituality? I think it's just like any other technology in the world, isn't it? Any technology in the world can be utilized appropriately for spiritual benefit, and any technology in the world can also be used in such a way that it distracts you, it diverts you, it degrades you. Therefore, along with AI, artificial intelligence, we also need SI, spiritual intelligence. Because artificial intelligence without spiritual intelligence, without spiritual values, without spiritual purpose, that kind of AI will lack the ethics. It will lack the proper discrimination of how to use it appropriately, and it will degrade the world. Therefore, more than ever, we need to have spiritual intelligence. We need to have spiritual. Previously they were thinking those who have the highest IQ are the most successful in the world. Later on they realized you can have IQ, but if you don't have EQ, emotional quotient, then your IQ is useless. And later on they realized you can have IQ and EQ, but if you don't have SQ, if you don't have purpose, if you don't have meaning, if you don't have faith, if you don't actually have some higher ethics in your life, then even EQ and IQ won't make you happy. So therefore, along with artificial intelligence, we need emotional intelligence, and along with emotional intelligence, we need spiritual intelligence. Therefore, Krishna says, Raja Vidya, Raja Goyam, Pavitram, Idanutamam. This knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita is the king of all knowledge. Because without this knowledge, everything else in the world can't be appropriately utilized and engaged. It will be misused and it will lead to degradation. And so, the future is in our hands. Is that okay? Alright, thank you so much everyone. Pleasure to be with you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Did you all enjoy it today? You don't want to finish it? I think today Maharaj is not agreeing with us. He wants to finish it. But Maharaj is a very compassionate person. And he was talking about the kitchen's example that we could hear. Even a small kitchen was suffering, and the sadhu can hear. I think he is a sadhu. Get out of the small kittens. He's clearing his total chant. And Maharaj heard our little cry. And when he was planning his tour in UK, he called us and said that you can come if you wish. So he came, and he traveled all the way from Peterborough. He just did the distribution there. Traveled all the way from there here to Keshava Swami, so that he can teach us here. So Maharaj is really, really compassionate to us. And the best we can do is that, whatever he is instructing us, giving us nice teaching, we can accept it. That's the best way to reciprocate. And immediately, what we can do is, please show your gratitude by really from the bottom of your heart. Say loudly 3 Hari Bols for the Maharaj. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Thank you so much, Maharaj. Whenever I hear your class, there are so many new things I hear. I'm from Mumbai, and I didn't see anything good in traveling with local train. Today you use that local trains. In the Vaishnava association, just being an association, they take you. Thank you, Maharaj. You could see even the good in the local trains of the and your analogy of flame, small flame, the wind will just extinguish it. The flame is so big, same wind will make it powerful. I don't know how you can come up with all these things, but thank you so much, Maharaj. These are really gems. Thank you so much, Maharaj. So, Maharaj has given us some association here for an hour or so. We can have this more of Maharaj's association in the form of these books. These books, they generally just go out very fast, but because Maharaj is traveling, some of his associates have some stock of books with us. So today, you can get some of the copies. So this is a Tattva book, very famous book of Maharaj. And there is this Gita tree, part of Gita life. You can have this one, and then there is the book Gita Life. This is one of the very hot cake. Definitely those who are starting a spiritual life should get this book Gita Life. There is a book called Bhagavatam. If you want to know what is Srimad Bhagavatam, there is contents are like when you start eating something, you need an appetizer. To read this book, you will definitely appetite for reading the whole Bhagavatam, which is a 20-volume book. So, these books are there on the table. You can approach Bhagavan Prabhu and Karan Prabhu there. And today, if you get book, and because Maharaj is also here, Maharaj will kindly sign that book. Is it okay, Maharaj? Sign the book. So, if you would like to have Maharaj sign book, then this is the opportunity today. So after the
Can I just also say, Radha Mohan Prabhu, there's also another book there that they just asked me to announce, which is His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami's book. So maybe someone can just hold that up, the Kirtan Standards book. So this is a very, very beautiful book. This has been written by His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami. He was one of the earliest disciples of Srila Prabhupada. And over the years, what he's done is he's compiled all of the instructions that Srila Prabhupada gave on how to lead Kirtan. Today we were talking about how Nama Kirtan is one of the most important, or perhaps the most important practice within Krishna consciousness. So in this book, Maharaj outlines all the different instructions that Srila Prabhupada gave on how to do Kirtan. So it's a very, very important book. So please also consider taking one of these with you. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, sorry for being greedy, but if you can just lead us into some 5 minutes of Kirtan, if that's okay, Maharaj. And so, you don't like to have Kirtan with Maharaj? Dancing Kirtan? Yeah, so you can all stand up and have a dance with the Kirtan. After the Kirtan, Maharaj will be here, read your book and Maharaj can sign. And you want to meet Maharaj, Maharaj will be here in the temple hall and you can meet Maharaj. And Prashadam will be served upstairs in the Prashadam group. And just make sure you take Prashadam before you go. Hare Krishna. Prabhupada ki jai. His Holiness Svayam Bhagavan Keshava Swami Maharaj ki jai.
Just go fast. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Jai Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol Shri Hari Naam Sankirtan Ki Jai Hare Krishna Shri Radha Gokulanand Ki Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Hare Krishna Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Like I said, the mind becomes more disciplined and strong. More try and stay in Vaishnav Sangha. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Thank you for coming. I hope you will some useful Gujarat. I was born in London. My father's from Gujarat. Krishna, thank you for coming. Hare Krishna.
Can you write our kids' name?
Yes, sure. Holiness. Nisha.
Disha. Yes, Friday.
Alright, holidays. Good. How are you? Annabelle?
He's learning tabla also now. He's learning tabla also now. He wanted to learn Mridanga. He wanted to learn Mridanga, then we found tabla. Then we started tabla.
No, but if you learn tabla, it's easy.
Beats.
Because his hand will be flexible.
Okay. Good to see you, Prabhuji.
Alright,
Prabhuji, one question for you. I need to ask, how do you manage your jet lag? Because I see you traveling all the time, because I attended your course. You visited my jet lag.
Oh, okay.
You were always in the US, and now you're in the UK. How do you manage your jet lag? Most of your time. But do you not sleep?
But now as years go by, it gets more difficult. With the young body, it was easier. Now I'm 45, so it's getting a bit more difficult. Krishna takes care.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, nice to see you. teacher. Hare Krishna. Know that? I think now you have to who came first? Oh, so that means she's over. Is she the best? Yes, please come to the well. Thank you. Please come down to the Maharaj. Okay. Alright, good luck with your studies. Take care. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you for coming.
I've got two more boys.
Uh-huh.
I bought this
Is that? Oh, okay.
Oh, definitely. I think they like stories. I used to tell them whatever I know.
Uh-huh.
So I think I will use this book as a new stories. I'm teaching extraordinary. I think a lot of questions we have in our mind, it comes all the time. And we never find the answers, And one of the things which I struggle with is, I think in a week, 1 or 2 days, you want to be close associate, you're considering close associate with Krishna. And some other days, if you're more materialistic, I'm trying hard, but it takes me, and I sometimes, it comes to a cycle, and I can count the number of days in a month where I'm close associate with Krishna.
Your association.
It's very relatable to the generation. I think it's really beneficial. I think I enjoy listening to these kind of things, and I think when it's relatable, it actually sticks to me. I think that's something to be able to.
Yeah, the Gita and the message of Krishna consciousness, also the lyrics to like all the things we're going through and why all the challenges that we have. It's very practical. So just trying to bring that as a little bit.
Amazing.
Hare Krishna. See you all. Thank you for coming. All the way from Manchester. You drove down today. Thank you. Kumar?
I went to
When you have that kind of close association with devotees,
Maharaj, I'm sure this temple is there because of him.
Yes. Your support, your backing.
Because of Krishna.
Yeah, now I remember.
Chitra what? Chitra is his dad is Chitra. Maharaj, they are kind of a pillar of this, not just temple but the whole community. Supporting so many groups.
Hare? ethnic